back. Most relationships don't fall apart because of a lack of love. They fall apart because love doesn't feel safe. Think about it. What's the point of being in love if you're constantly guarding your heart, hiding your feelings, or walking on eggshells? Real love should feel like the safest place in the world. Today, I'm going to show you how to build that kind of safety, the kind that makes love unshakable. Welcome to Connected Souls. I'm Leila Hormozi, here to help you heal, grow, back, and thrive in love. Trust is the invisible thread that holds relationships together, the quiet assurance that allows two people to lean on each other without hesitation. It is not something that appears overnight, nor does it arrive wrapped in a single grand moment. Instead, it is formed in the rhythm of everyday actions, in the way you show up when you say you will, and in the way your words match your behavior. When someone knows that your presence is dependable and your intentions are true, their heart slowly begins to rest. They stop bracing for disappointment, and instead, they find peace in the steadiness you bring. The steady peace is what gives love the ground it needs to grow strong roots. Without trust, every moment feels uncertain, and every connection feels temporary. Trust is not built by perfection, but through sincerity and consistency. People do not need flawless partners. They need ones who are real, present, and committed to trying. Even small acts, like remembering what matters to them or standing by promises, carry tremendous weight. Over time, these small confirmations shape a foundation that cannot be shaken easily. It is in the details, how you handle conflict, how you treat them when no one is watching, and how you protect their confidence, that trust solidifies. When you create a space where actions align with intentions, the other person begins to lower their guard. Emotional safety does not require you to never make mistakes. It requires that when mistakes happen, honesty and repair follow. I trust myself to take it back. To restore what was broken matters more than avoiding imperfection altogether. In moments of conflict, trust becomes the anchor that keeps love from drifting into chaos. Disagreements are inevitable, but the presence of trust changes their impact. When there's trust, even heated words do not feel like betrayal, because beneath the surface lies the certainty that you still care. The argument is about an issue, not about the worth of the person. Without trust, conflict feels like rejection, and every word becomes a weapon. With trust, conflict becomes an opportunity to understand each other better and come out stronger. And knowing that someone's intentions remain pure, even in moments of anger, gives courage to stay, to talk, and to resolve. That is the safety net that allows love to survive storms without falling apart. Trust is also built when transparency replaces secrecy. Keeping walls or hiding truths creates distance, while openness nurtures closeness. Transparency does not mean sharing every thought that crosses your mind. It means being honest about the things that matter, the things that affect the bond you share. Secrets create shadows, and in the shadows, doubt grows. But when everything is in the light, even uncomfortable truths become manageable. The person beside you does not need perfection. They need to know that what you present is real. Being genuine allows them to stop guessing and start believing. And when belief takes root, love finally has the safety to breathe fully. Another important piece of trust is reliability. Words alone cannot sustain safety if actions do not follow through. Reliability is proven when promises are kept, when support is present in moments of need, and when commitments are honored. It shows up in consistency, the kind that makes a partner feel they can lean without fear of falling. Every time you do what you said you would, their faith in you deepens. Every time you stand by them in times of weakness, they realize that your bond is more than just words. Over time, these repeated confirmations form a wall of safety. A shield that protects love from the insecurity of uncertainty. Without this reliability, even the sweetest promises begin to sound hollow and safety starts to crumble. Trust also requires patience. Because it grows slowly, layer by layer, like a seed that needs nurturing. Rushing it often breaks it, because safety cannot be demanded. It must be earned. Patience allows the other person to unfold at their own pace, to reveal who they are without pressure. Every soul carries past wounds, and patience is the gentleness that reassures them that this time it is different. Trust blooms when someone feels they are not being hurried into vulnerability, but are allowed to open up in their own rhythm. That patience signals care, and care signals security. And when security is felt, the bond begins to expand into something lasting and profound. One of the deepest expressions of trust lies in keeping confidence as sacred. When someone shares their innermost fears, doubts, or dreams, they are handing over fragile pieces of themselves. Treating those pieces with respect builds safety unlike anything else. Breaking that trust through gossip, judgment, or betrayal damages not just the moment, but the very foundation of love. On the other hand, holding those confidences carefully, protecting them as if they were your own, makes the bond sacred. It communicates that their heart is safe in your hands, and nothing could be more powerful in creating emotional safety. Every time you choose to protect instead of expose, you become a source of peace in their life. Trust also thrives when forgiveness exists. No one is without fault, and mistakes are a natural part of human connection. What matters is how those mistakes are handled. Owning up, apologizing sincerely, and taking real steps to change are acts that rebuild trust after it has been shaken. Forgiveness does not erase the past, but it allows the future to continue without chains of resentment. When both partners practice forgiveness, they create a climate where missteps are not the end, but opportunities for growth. That environment removes fear from love because safety is not in never stumbling. It is in knowing that when you do, hands will reach out to lift you again. When trust exists, love feels lighter because it removes the need for constant guarding. A safe love allows both people to focus on building joy instead of protecting themselves from harm. Without safety, relationships become a battlefield of suspicion and insecurity. But with trust, take it back, they become a sanctuary where two people can truly rest in each other. That sanctuary is the heart of emotional safety. It is where vulnerability is welcomed, honesty is celebrated, and love is allowed to flourish without fear. And though it takes time, patience, and consistent care to build, once established, it becomes the strongest foundation a relationship can stand on. Vulnerability is the bridge that allows two people to truly see each other without masks, without the constant performance of perfection that the world so often demands. It is the courage to say, this is who I am, and to open the door to both acceptance and rejection. Most people fear showing their weaknesses, their insecurities, and their flaws because they believe it will make them unlovable. But in reality, those very admissions are what create deeper connections, because love grows strongest in truth, not in illusion. When someone feels free to speak their fears and share their raw emotions, they experience safety that cannot be replaced by surface-level affection. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is a form of strength that demonstrates trust in the bond being built. It says, I am safe enough with you to put down my armor. That choice begins to transform love into something unshakable. When vulnerability is present, love becomes more than just a collection of sweet words and fleeting moments. It becomes a foundation built on authenticity where both individuals are not only allowed but encouraged to be their whole selves. In such a space, you can admit when you are struggling, when you are unsure, or when you have made mistakes. This honesty, far from pushing someone away, actually draws them closer because it makes it feel trusted and included in your inner world. Pretending to be invulnerable creates distance because it puts up walls that prevent real intimacy. Emotional safety grows when masks fall and the truth of human imperfection is embraced. That acceptance communicates a powerful message. You are loved not just for your strengths, but also for the parts of you that are still healing. And that message builds a bond few things can break. The fear of vulnerability often comes from past experiences of betrayal or rejection, where opening up was met with judgment instead of compassion. Those wounds can make it difficult to risk again, but refusing to take that risk keeps love shallow. To build emotional safety, one must choose to open anyway, knowing that true connection is impossible without it. Vulnerability requires bravery because it exposes the heart, but that bravery is what creates depth. Shallow connections may feel safer in the short term, but they lack the richness of intimacy that comes only when two people know the unfiltered truth about each other. Safety in love does not mean avoiding discomfort. It means creating a space where discomfort can be shared without fear of abandonment. That kind of love does not eliminate pain, but it does eliminate isolation. Vulnerability is also expressed through listening as much as it is through speaking. Creating emotional safety means making space for someone else's truths, even when those truths are messy or hard to hear. It is sitting in silence while they pour out their struggles, resisting the urge to judge or fix immediately. That openness tells them their voice matters and that their emotions are valid. Listening with empathy is itself a vulnerable act because it requires setting aside ego and allowing yourself to be moved by another's pain. It demands the humility to say, your feelings are important, and I will hold them with care. When both people practice this kind of listening, they create a cycle of vulnerability that strengthens their connection. Each act of openness encourages the other to do the same, deepening the safety that surrounds their love. Allowing vulnerability also means creating an environment where mistakes are not used as weapons. Everyone falters, says the wrong thing, or makes choices they regret. But emotional safety means those moments are handled with grace. Instead of shaming or humiliating, the focus becomes understanding and growth. Vulnerability requires knowing you can admit when you are wrong without being diminished. It is the assurance that love does not vanish at the sight of imperfection, but rather adapts and forgives it back. This kind of response transforms fear into trust and makes it easier to be open in the future. When people feel they cannot admit their struggles, they retreat behind walls of defensiveness. But when they feel they can be honest without punishment, they move closer instead of further away. That closeness builds the kind of safety that sustains love over the long term. There is also vulnerability in expressing needs, which many people hesitate to do out of fear of being seen as weak or demanding. Yet, unspoken needs often lead to resentment, while voiced needs allow love to grow stronger. Emotional safety means being able to say, I need your support, or I need more time with you without fear of dismissal. Expressing needs is not selfish. It is an invitation for the other person to understand how to love you better. When needs are shared openly and met with care instead of judgment, the relationship thrives. Vulnerability here is not about dependency, but about honesty, because even the strongest individuals cannot thrive in isolation. Love is about partnership, and partnerships require the courage to admit that we cannot always do it alone. That courage opens the door to deeper care and connection. Another aspect of vulnerability is showing emotions fully, even when they're messy or uncomfortable. Crying in front of someone Admitting you are scared or revealing moments of insecurity can feel daunting, but it is precisely these moments that make bonds real. Pretending to always be strong creates an image, not a relationship. Emotional safety grows when two people can laugh, cry, worry, and dream together without fear of judgment. It is in those raw exchanges that intimacy blossoms because they reflect the truth of what it means to be human. Vulnerability says, I trust you enough to let you see the parts of me that the world rarely sees. That trust is the soil from which love grows deep and lasting roots. Without it, relationships remain on the surface, never reaching the depth they are capable of. Vulnerability also requires reciprocity because safety is not built by one person alone. If one partner constantly shares while the other remains guarded, imbalance eventually creates strain. Mutual vulnerability fosters equality in the relationship where both sides feel equally exposed and equally safe. This balance prevents resentment and ensures that trust flows in both directions. Each time one person takes the risk of opening up, the other's willingness to respond with openness strengthens the bond. Emotional safety is built on the cycle of give and take, where vulnerability is not seen as a burden but as a gift. Each shared truth becomes another thread in the fabric of intimacy. Weaving together a love that is both fragile and unbreakable. Vulnerability is the opposite of control because it surrenders the need to always appear composed or in charge. It acknowledges that love is not about power but about connection. When two people can be vulnerable, they create a relationship that is free from constant competition or guardedness. Instead, it becomes a safe place where imperfection is welcomed and humanity is celebrated. Emotional safety is born in that acceptance where being authentic matters more than being flawless. Vulnerability strips away the illusions and leaves behind something real, something strong enough to endure the challenges of life. In its rawness, it carries the power to transform love from something ordinary into something extraordinary. Communication is the lifeline of every safe and loving connection, the channel through which emotions, needs, and thoughts are shared and understood. Without it, misunderstandings grow, walls rise, and distance forms between hearts that were once close. True communication is not about speaking the loudest or having the final word, but about creating a flow where both voices are valued. It is the courage to express honestly and the humility to listen deeply. When people feel heard, they also feel valued, and when they feel valued, emotional safety is born. Silence filled with resentment weakens bonds, while open dialogue strengthens them. Communication done with respect creates clarity where confusion might otherwise exist. It becomes the bridge between differences, the tool for resolving conflict, and the foundation for long-lasting trust. Without it, love is left guessing, but with it, love becomes clear and steady. Emotional safety thrives in an environment where difficult conversations are handled with care instead of hostility. When disagreements arise, the way they are navigated can either fortify or fracture the relationship. Yelling, blame, or avoidance may temporarily silence an issue, but they erode the sense of security that love needs to survive. On the other hand, speaking calmly, addressing problems directly, and focusing on solutions create a space where even conflict becomes constructive. Communication in love is not about winning arguments, but about preserving connection while solving challenges. This requires maturity to put ego aside and to prioritize understanding over being right. Emotional safety means knowing that even in disagreement, respect will not be lost and dignity will not be trampled. When people know they can argue without being attacked, they gain confidence to speak openly. That confidence strengthens love beyond the surface. Listening is one of the most powerful and often neglected parts of communication. Many enter conversations only waiting for their turn to speak rather than seeking to truly understand. Emotional safety requires listening with empathy, hearing not just the words but also the emotions beneath them. When someone shares their feelings, they do not always seek a solution. They often just want to feel understood. By listening attentively, by asking questions that show care, and by reflecting back what is heard, you create a sense of validation. This validation is not agreement, but acknowledgement, the recognition that their feelings matter. Emotional safety grows when people no longer feel invisible or dismissed. Listening becomes the gift that says, your voice matters here. When both sides practice this, the relationship deepens because both hearts feel seen. That depth is what makes communication sacred. Communication is not only about words, but also about tone, body language, and timing. A harsh tone can turn even gentle words into weapons, while a warm tone can soften difficult truths. Emotional safety means paying attention not just to what is said, but how it is said, ensuring that love is present even in correction. Body language speaks loudly. Eye contact, open posture, and calm gestures communicate care more than words alone ever could. Timing also matters because heavy conversations and rushed or stressful moments rarely end well. Choosing the right moment to talk signals respect, showing that the other person's heart is important enough to be addressed with patience. These subtle elements of communication shape the emotional climate of love. When they are handled thoughtfully, they create harmony. When they are ignored, even the most loving intentions can be misunderstood. Honesty is another essential element of communication because emotional safety cannot exist where deception lingers. Even small lies plant seeds of doubt, and once doubt grows, love struggles to breathe. Honesty does not mean being harsh or careless with words. It means being authentic and truthful while still showing care. Emotional safety grows when transparency is the norm, where questions are answered openly and feelings are not hidden behind masks. When honesty is paired with kindness, it becomes a powerful force for intimacy. It assures both people that what is spoken is real and that they are not building love on illusions. Communication rooted in honesty creates stability because there are no shadows left for fear to grow in. The more open the dialogue, the deeper the trust. And the deeper the trust, the stronger the emotional safety that sustains the relationship. Another aspect of communication that nurtures safety is expressing appreciation regularly. Many relationships weaken not from conflict, but from silence in the moments where gratitude could have been spoken back. Emotional safety is reinforced when people feel acknowledged, when their efforts and presence are recognized. Words like "thank you," "I appreciate you," or "I'm proud of you" carry enormous weight in building confidence and love. Expressing appreciation through words and actions creates a positive rhythm in communication, balancing the heavier conversations about struggles. It reminds both partners that love is not only about solving problems, but also about celebrating each other. When appreciation flows consistently, it softens the impact of future conflicts. Because the foundation of goodwill is already strong. This steady rhythm of gratitude builds a safe environment where both people feel cherished. Emotional safety also depends on the willingness to clarify rather than assume. Many conflicts grow from unspoken expectations or misunderstood words. Instead of reacting based on assumptions, communication should involve asking questions, seeking clarity, and giving the benefit of the doubt. This prevents unnecessary pain and ensures that intentions are correctly understood. Clarification shows that the relationship matters more than pride because it values truth over assumption. It communicates respect for the other person's perspective, creating room for correction without judgment. Emotional safety grows when misunderstandings are approached with curiosity instead of accusation. This approach builds trust in the dialogue itself, making each conversation a safe space to resolve rather than escalate. That habit of checking before reacting prevents small issues from becoming large wounds. Over time, this creates resilience in the bond. Another crucial piece of communication is consistency. Words lose meaning when they are constantly contradicted by actions or when they change unpredictably. Consistent communication fosters stability, which in turn builds emotional safety. It means keeping promises made, maintaining the same tone of respect, and following through on expressed intentions. Inconsistency breeds doubt because people begin to wonder if today's words will match tomorrow's reality. But when communication remains steady and reliable, it becomes a pillar of trust. People can relax into the certainty that what is expressed is genuine and enduring. This steadiness removes anxiety and creates room for vulnerability because the ground beneath feels stable. Emotional safety thrives in that predictability, where love does not feel like a gamble but like a home. Equally important is the ability to communicate boundaries clearly. Boundaries are not walls but guidelines that allow both people to feel respected and safe. When they are expressed openly, they prevent resentment and confusion. Communication about boundaries requires honesty and care, ensuring that needs are voiced without hostility. Respecting those boundaries in return creates reassurance that the relationship is a place where individuality is honored. This mutual respect turns communication into a tool for protection, not control. Emotional safety grows when each person knows their limits will be respected without fear of backlash. Clear boundaries create structure, and within that structure, love is free to grow. Without them, safety is compromised and love risks suffocating under unspoken frustrations. Communication transforms boundaries into bridges rather than barriers. Communication in love is not a single skill, but a lifelong practice. One that requires patience, humility, and constant effort. Every conversation is an opportunity to either strengthen or weaken the emotional safety between two people. The choice to listen carefully, speak respectfully, and respond with empathy makes all the difference. Communication becomes not just about solving issues, but about nurturing the bond itself. It carries the power to heal wounds, to deepen intimacy, and to remind each person that they are not alone. It is in the gentle exchange of words, in the pauses of understanding, and in the honesty of expression that love feels most secure. When communication thrives, emotional safety flourishes, creating a foundation strong enough to carry love through every season of life. Respect is the silent force that protects love and allows it to grow in safety. It is not only about polite words or outward manners, but about deeply valuing the other person as an individual with their own feelings, dreams, and boundaries. When respect is present, love feels steady because there is no fear of being belittled, ignored, or dismissed. Respect communicates that the other person's emotions matter, even when they are different from your own. It creates a space where individuality is not crushed but celebrated, and where differences are not seen as threats but as opportunities to understand. Without respect, love easily becomes control, and control slowly suffocates the connection. But when respect exists, both people feel free to be who they are while still being deeply connected. That balance of freedom and closeness is what makes love safe. Respect is shown most clearly in the way partners handle each other's boundaries. Every person comes with limits shaped by experiences, values, and personal needs. When those boundaries are ignored, the relationship begins to feel unsafe and suffocating. But when they are honored, they become proof of care and trust. Respect means not pushing someone further than they are ready to go. Back, and not dismissing their no as important. It is the acknowledgement that loving someone does not mean owning them, and closeness should never come at the cost of individuality. Back, boundaries are not walls meant to keep people apart, but doors that open only when there is trust and care. When those doors are respected, emotional safety flourishes because no one feels invaded or taken for granted. That safety strengthens the connection more than any forced closeness ever could. Respect also shows itself in the way words are used. Words carry power. They can either heal or harm, uplift or wound. When communication is filled with sarcasm, insults, or constant criticism, even love begins to feel like a battlefield. But when words are chosen with care, they become tools of reassurance and comfort. By respect means refusing to use a partner's weaknesses against them, even in anger. It means choosing silence over cruelty and patience over sharpness, especially in heated moments. Back, emotional safety grows when both people know that their dignity will be preserved no matter the situation. This does not mean avoiding truth, but delivering truth with compassion. In a respectful love, words never aim to destroy, they aim to guide, to understand, and to bring healing. That is how communication strengthens instead of scars. In addition to words, respect lives in actions. In the small daily choices that either protect or damage trust. It shows up when someone follows through on promises, shows consideration for time, and treats their partner's priorities as important. Respect is expressed in being on time, keeping commitments, and taking seriously what matters to the other person. Small acts, like listening without distraction or remembering small details, carry deep significance. They send the message that the other person is valued, not as an afterthought, but as a priority. Emotional safety is built when respect is not just spoken, but demonstrated consistently. That actions reinforce what words alone cannot, and over time they become evidence of genuine care. Respect in action makes love feel grounded because it transforms intention into reality. I trust respect also means allowing space for growth and individuality within the relationship. Love is not about creating a copy of yourself in another person, but about walking beside them as they grow into the fullest version of themselves. Emotional safety thrives when both people feel free to chase dreams, explore passions, and pursue goals without fear of ridicule or resistance. Respect means cheering for each other's victories, supporting through setbacks, and celebrating uniqueness. It is understanding that love should not shrink anyone but should give them wings. When both partners feel empowered rather than restricted, love becomes expansive instead of limiting. That empowerment builds trust because each person knows they can grow without losing the safety of connection. A respectful love becomes a foundation where both individuals can stand tall together. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship, but respect determines whether conflict becomes destructive or constructive. Disagreements handled without respect quickly turn into battles of pride, but when respect is maintained, even arguments can deepen understanding. Respect in conflict means refusing to humiliate, refusing to dismiss, and refusing to attack. It means listening even when frustrated, and acknowledging the other's feelings even when disagreeing. Emotional safety comes from knowing that even in the worst moments, respect will not be lost. This assurance prevents fear from taking root, because love remains protected from unnecessary cruelty. When conflict becomes an opportunity for understanding instead of division, the bond is strengthened. Respect ensures that love survives storms, emerging stronger with each challenge faced. Respect is also rooted in equality, in recognizing that love is a partnership, not a hierarchy. Emotional safety is destroyed when one person dominates while the other feels small and silenced. Respect ensures that both voices are heard, both needs are considered, and both perspectives are valued. It rejects control and embraces collaboration. When equality exists, decisions are made together, and power is shared rather than abused. This balance creates an environment where no one fears being overlooked or dismissed. Emotional safety thrives when both people know they stand on equal ground. In such a space, love feels like a team effort, where victories and challenges are carried side by side. Equality protected by respect makes the relationship strong and lasting. Respect also requires patience because every person comes with flaws, habits, and imperfections. Emotional safety is nurtured when patience replaces irritation and when compassion replaces criticism. Respect means giving grace for mistakes, understanding that growth is a process, and choosing to focus on the bigger picture rather than magnifying flaws. It is the willingness to wait for change instead of demanding it instantly. That patience communicates love in its most powerful form, acceptance without conditions. When people feel accepted for who they are while being supported and becoming better, they feel safe. Respect in this form builds a love that is gentle yet unyielding, firm yet forgiving. It becomes a love that holds space for humanity while inspiring growth. Ultimately, respect protects the heart because it creates the assurance that love is a safe place, not a battlefield. It provides the confidence that feelings, dreams, and struggles will be handled with care. Respect is not about perfection, but about intention, choosing kindness over cruelty, equality over control, and patience over impatience. When respect is the foundation, love becomes a sanctuary where fear is silenced and trust is unshakable. Emotional safety is not a single act, but a culture that is built day by day through choices rooted in respect. A relationship grounded in such safety does not just survive, it thrives. It becomes the kind of love that endures time, weathers storms, and creates peace in a world that often feels uncertain. Respect makes love not just possible, but beautiful and lasting. If this touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe and join our soul family.